Cross position on Atlas, starting to the bottom right, we have for LGIM.
LGIM first.
First with a 2-0 in the group. Up against the fellow Protoss player, starting to the top left. Here we have, starting for Team FX Open.
FXO Hurricane.
Hurricane looking excellent so far today, not losing a single map.
And if the curse of my sheet here is true, then or keeps true in the last game, then first has no chance here.
Yeah,
every player,
all the ones on the left.
Exactly, all the players to the left side have won their games today. All the players to the right in my sheet have lost, and currently on the right is first. So if the trend continues, then well, first is already cursed. It's not the Artosis curse, so he still has some hope.
It's the it's the Kaldor score sheet curse.
It's the Kaldor score sheet curse. It's not as strong.
Yeah, it's not as strong.
It's more of a bad omen.
Yeah, it's a bad omen, exactly. It's just kind of ill will your score sheet is sending out. Double gas here for both players. They're going to see the 2-2, which means they can get a slightly faster mothership core, but probably not a second gateway, no 2-gate pressure.
Hurricane knows, of course, that if he takes this game, he will go straight to Code S, so he doesn't want to leave it to chance. If he loses to first, then he has to hope for first winning the game against Marine King later on as well, if he doesn't want to end up in a 3-way tie. He's already 3-0 in the group, and with a win here, he could secure himself a Code S spot. So he really wants to finish it right here and now, go home and be a Code S player. But let's see what exactly we're gonna see from first. So far, the LGIM Protoss had a really good day as well. Took down 2 of his opponents, didn't drop a single map just yet.
Yeah.
And both of them, of course, now trying to find out what's going on here with the scouts on the map. But yeah, they will scout their opponent on a the cross position on a second scout.
And I'm really curious to see what builds pop out of this, because when that core is done, it looks like both players can go into a mothership core, which is very standard. We've seen this used to scout. We've seen this used to be aggressive, you know, with the time warp. And it looks like Hurricane, he's actually going into Stalker and Warp Gate Research first, so delays the core.
And we have a bit of a difference here with the opening units. We have a Sentry against a Stalker. We currently see the Sentry here for first. So he could really try to just use this for tech. This is something that we have seen in Wings of Liberty, especially used by players like Creator. But right now, also no mothership core for Hurricane, who's going into the Stalker right after this.
Yeah, and so there's Hurricane's mothership core in first. On the other hand, with that Zealot, feels comfortable with just a Stalker.
Both of them heading straight into the Twilight Council here. We've been talking about Atlas being a good map for Blink Stalkers, and it looks like this is what we are seeing from both of them. DTs, of course, being another option, but the Blink strategy is a lot more likely.
Yeah, you know, some people will skip the mothership core, though, when they go for the Blink strategy and then make it afterwards, because all you really need it for is vision. So it could be just a safer Blink play. In this case, the Hurricane mothership core is going to come out for a very aggressive scout. He wants to see if he can distract him at the front and send the mothership core around the back and see the Twilight Council.
Yeah, sees the probe here. Additional gates already being added. We have Blink started for first.
And I think the same will be a set of
Hurricane.
Well, it started for Hurricane. It'll be started for first now. And yeah, I mean, this is kind of cute. But if he loses that mothership, I think he's actually going to lose it.
Yep. Mothership is down, and that's already very unlucky here. So in this situation, the faster, well, the Blink timings are very similar. The faster one goes to first. We have the additional gateways added. The builds are very much the same, except for the aggression that we saw by Hurricane, and him losing his mothership core. That's definitely an issue.
He can't do this anymore. I mean, he starts a robotics immediately because he's like, well, this isn't going to work because I'm just not going to have enough units. So that's 100 gas he needs. When you're doing a time push like this, you can't just be like, oh, well, I'll just remake my mothership core again. You just can't do that. So he's just going to transition. He's been scouted as well with this Phoenix.
Yeah. So now First knows everything that's going on here, and he is about to complete his Blink. He also has those extra gateways now. And we have also the pylon at the front, so in just a few seconds we will see if First strategy is going to work. Here what Hurricane needs is an Immortal.
Yeah, as soon as he gets that Immortal out, he'll be safe, but before then, so many different things can happen. First is looking ready. Hurricane does have his mothership core, but not enough energy for anything useful just yet.
Robo is done. Needs to start the Immortal production here, but he goes for an Observer first.
And First, on the other hand, breaks off the attack. He sees the probe and he gets a little bit nervous. Doesn't actually chase it, and he's not going to commit. So this just puts Hurricane ahead in a weird way, where you can just start a Nexus and he has robotics tech.
And there's the warp in right now, though.
Yeah, he's going for that now, and if he gets trapped here,
he can trap them. He can trap them easily. He can blink in now from 2 angles, and he's already starting. And he has to blink. Another forward blink would definitely take down at least one of the Stalkers.
The Immortal very late here. He's already canceled the Nexus, and this is
devastating.
This is disastrous.
Yeah, losing these units, not having the Immortal just yet. The numbers, of course, now in favor of First.
He wants to buy enough time to get that Mothership Core up to full energy here. It's at 99 now. He can use the Time Warp.
Yeah, can use the Time Warp.
Or rather the Photon Overcharge,
Photon Overcharge is there. And a snipe on the Mothership Core, at least an attempted one. The Time Warp is already there. We have one force field, but the blink forward, and suddenly it is Hurricane who loses Stalker after Stalker, and overwhelming numbers of units here in the main base of the FX Open player.
It's not over yet, though, because his Immortal is out, and he still has that Mothership Core. Well, he doesn't have that anymore, but he has the Photon Overcharge, what I meant to say.
He has the
he needs
blink,
a target.
and he takes down the Immortal, and this is bad.
This is just looking worse and worse all the time. He doesn't have a very forward pile. Now it finished, and I mean that second Immortal is miles away.
Yeah. The second Immortal is so, I mean, even with Chrono Boost, it's going to take so long for him to get that. And all of the Stalkers are already moving in. The Photon Overcharge is not active anymore. He just has to try to snipe the Robotics here. He's also trying to go for the core.
Anything he can get is good.
Yeah.
He's got a dominant position. He'll get the Immortal as soon as it pops out. He'll grab onto it like, you know.
He takes down the pylons, and here's the Immortal, but the core is now about to be sniped.
Probe's coming in here. Core is gone. He needs to blink his Stalkers if he wants to use that Immortal, and there's just way too much.
Yeah, the pylon in the main base, the forward pylon for the warp-ins. He's warping in units after unit, and now he can take down the Immortal as well with another focus. This is game. Hurricane is going to lose this, and there is just no way. First, we'll have the 3-0,
Yep.
and Hurricane the 3-1.
There's the Immortal gone, and he'll have to type out. Gets a 3-0, but does not beat First. GG.
GG indeed. So now we could still have our 3-way tie. Our next game is going to be Marine King versus First. And if First takes the game, he and Hurricane will advance. If First loses against Marine King, we will have a 3-way tie.
Yeah, so right now, Hurricane's got to be feeling some mixed emotions. He's like, at first really frustrated, but on the other hand, he's like, well, please win, though, again.
Yeah.
I can't be mad at you for that long, you know.
Yeah. I don't like you anymore, but please win the next game.
Do it for both of us. Because obviously going into a 3-way tie is not ideal for First either.
I'm not quite sure if we have a short break to give First a bit of time to just transition from game to game and maybe like get something to drink or go to the bathroom. But if not, then he's going to play now 2 games back to back. For Marine King, things didn't really change. He still needs to win his last game. If he wins the next one, then we will have the 3-way tie. So we go through the entire process once again. That's something that we might see happen here. And if the Protoss takes it, then 2 Protoss players are going to advance today. So Marine King, he really has to pull this one off now.
Yeah, exactly. This is the most important moment for him to get into that tie situation. And he may be able to do just that. It's been a rough day for some of these players. You know, Marine King not having the best day ever. And I think, you know, most people would expect him to be out of this group, the old Marine King, that is to say. But the new one, not having an easy time anymore. And
First doing really well here. I doubted him a little bit. I thought that Hurricane would be the one who really takes this group. So far he lost only 1 game, but it was against First. So First with no losses at all. And if he can win against Marine King, then it's 2 Protoss players that will go to Code S. So all of the Protoss out there are already cheering here for First. But let's see what Marine King has up his sleeves today.
Yeah. So I do not know if we're having a break or not. I've got nobody in the lobby. So I feel like we're not going to have a break, but someone will confirm.
The only game that Marine King played against Protoss today was the match against Hurricane, and that was the initial game that he lost. So
he tried to hit a timing, didn't work. No break, confirmed.
We're going into the game right away. Yeah, the build was a little bit weird on Belcher Westage. What's the map that we have?
Whirlwind, so another Whirlwind map. And this is a very, very big map. Much harder to hit a timing like we saw on Daybreak.
Yeah. Marine King killed himself on Belcher Vestige when he was playing against Hurricane. Hurricane allowed his opponent to make mistakes, and Marine King did him this favor. He attacked into Colossi, into 3 of them without a single Viking, and the force fields on the ramp were good for Hurricane, so he took a massive lead in the match, and then it was no problem for him to carry it over and take the game in the end. Marine King since then hasn't dropped a single map though, so now he can go into the 3-way tie, force it out, and get another chance against the 2 Protoss players here. But of course, First is also he wants to finish this now. He wants to go home. He doesn't want to stick around for another 3-way tie.
Yeah, obviously, you know, it's like get out or have to stick around and do other things and maybe lose later against the players who have taken games off of you. So I'm curious to see what sort of strategy Marine King is going to show though, because for him, in this matchup, he's been having some trouble. His team has as well. Beyond's been having some trouble in this matchup in the Team League.
The one thing is that on a map like Whirlwind, you can also go for very aggressive timings once again. Gateway timings are really strong here, and you can go for even... we saw aggression with Immortals in a few of the earlier games when Bang was playing, but early aggression is something that you always have to be prepared for if you're a Terran player facing a Protoss. And Marine King has a tendency to play a little bit greedy.
Yeah.
In the first game against Hurricane, he played a little bit more defensive than he usually would, especially in the early game. He had a lot of units there that could have helped him against early aggression, so it was definitely more cautious than what we usually see from him.
Yeah, he went into the Double Reaper to scout.
Yeah, but if he falls back into his old habits here, we might actually see just First go for an aggressive gateway timing and trying to end the game early.
I would love to see Marine King take a book out of the Marine Prince's page here, or take a page out of his book. I would love to see him take a book out of a page. I'd be like, oh, you're a magician. But if he goes for like a Hellbat drop or a Hellion Marine drop on Whirlwind, that can catch a lot of Protoss players who are playing greedy off guard as well.
It depends a lot on the positions, of course, as well. If you have the cross position here, then especially the drop play becomes a little bit less likely, or will arrive a lot later than it would if you start to one side of the map. First is already being invited to the lobby. Marine King at this point has not entered the lobby just yet. Not quite sure. Yeah, he's probably not. He's probably done setting up his gear. I mean, he had the entire game to do that.
Yeah, just no updates on that one. But I guess maybe he's just trying to make sure his settings are good. He could have a problem with one of his headsets or something.
He might also not have been in the booth already, because originally no, we already knew that we don't need True versus Bang, so I'm not quite sure what we're waiting for, to be honest with you. We should have both players already in the lobby right now, so yeah.
A little bit strange, but regardless, I would like to see Hellbat drop on this map, even if he does it blind, because, yeah, if he gets cross positions, it's not going to be as effective, but I don't think that's something that First would expect from him. It's a big map, it's Marine King, he's greedy, he's probably expecting a Command Center first, go into a gas first, totally throw him off guard. I wonder if First even will probe scout. He may even skip that to try to get ahead, because he's like, well, it's Marine King on Whirlwind. Of course he's going to CC first.
Whatever happens today, we definitely have no Zerg advancing. So this is the first up and down group where not a single Zerg is getting through. And the only one that we had was True, and he didn't really perform all too well today. But yeah, you're certainly right. First could try to mind game his opponent here a little bit. And the thing is that Marine King... I feel he has a little bit of momentum going for him. You could really see the pressure when he was heading into the game against True, and even after he won the game, he looked like he was still a little bit, not very relieved, that he was very stressed. But now winning the second game, that was very important for him, and he knows that at this point he can do it. You know, he doesn't have to rely on any other results. If he forces the win now, then he will head into a tiebreaker, and that
where
would
it's all on him.
Exactly, that would give him a lot of momentum and just a lot of confidence, being like, okay, I forced the tiebreaker here already. I can't go straight into Code S winning the next match, but I at least am the one who forces the tiebreaker, and I feel the person that would be in the worst spot is actually Hurricane.
Yeah.
He won every single game at the beginning, and if you are 3-0 in the group, you know that there is a chance that you will not advance, but in the back of your head there's always this thing, I should be through here.
Right, exactly. You know, it's like, well, how did somebody who had such a tough opening versus me who went flawlessly through get through instead? It's just about the direct comparison. I mean, he beat the people who ended up potentially at the bottom of the group, is why this happens.
Where is Marine King?
That's what I'm asking.
We have First in the lobby by now, and Marine King is the guy who had the most time to actually prepare and to get in the lobby, and I have no idea what he's waiting for. Alright, apparently nobody knows. I'm gonna look, I don't care. Marine King is there.
He's in the booth. Looks like he's warming up still.
That is, I mean, the last game that he played was against Bang. Since then we had Hurricane against First, and there we have him. There's Marine King now.
Yeah, he doesn't have an invite either.
Maybe they should... You know what would help? If they would invite him.
Yeah.
That would really help a lot, I feel. Ah, there's the invite, and immediately he joins. Okay, so Marine King finally arriving in the lobby here, not pulling one of his Marine King timings where he leaves the game very late. This time he joins very late. But yeah, he has it in his own hands now to force the tiebreaker and then maybe advance to Korea today. 3 players are still in the run, 2 Protoss players, a Terran. We have First Hurricane and Marine King, True and Bang already out, and it comes down for now for this one match. If First can clench out a victory, him and Hurricane are going to advance, and if not, the Marine King has another shot here at going... Oh,
sorry.
What?
I don't know. Legend just...
What's he saying?
Legend just said wolf in English. I'm going to type into Korean, and he just says wolf in English, and I'm like, what? And he says viper, and I'm like, what? And then he says kidnap, and I'm like,
what? Why was I kidnapping unis these days with
I'm like, maybe he thinks a viper kidnapped Marine King?
Does he know that neither First nor Marine King are Zerg? Does he know? Maybe you should tell him. Tell him. Maybe he doesn't know.
Okay, I'll tell him, man.
There could be weird observing if he doesn't know.
Yeah, I think he thinks a viper kidnapped Marine King, but everything's fine. Alright, everything is good. These 2 players are really stressed out. They don't appreciate me typing funny things in the chat.
Well, the map is loading, so after Marine King they join, we are going into the next game right now. It could be the last game of the day. First is up against Marine King, the Protoss player with a perfect record so far. Marine King has to change that if he wants to force the tiebreaker here. We're going into Whirlwind right now at the GSL Up and Down Group C. Paolo and Wolf.